Hello everybody, welcome to this week's Schoolhouse Sharing Good Practice session. This week's session is from Jedburgh Grammar Campus and we have got some excellent sessions to share, demonstrating some of the great things that can be done with Book Creator, Sketches School, iMovie, Procreate and QR codes. Firstly, we have Karen Seaton, one of the primary teachers at Jedburgh Grammar Campus. Karen is going to show us how she's been using Book Creator and Sketches School to enable her pupils to create some fantastic comic books.
Hello, I wanted to share with you a successful small block of learning that I completed with my class during home learning. My class love the Book Creator and Sketches School apps, so I knew that this type of activity would really motivate them. We designed and created our own comic book strips. I split the topic into a different focus at a time. To begin with, I recorded myself reading some of my children's superhero books, such as Super Tato, and we discussed the characters, the plot, the tone, etc. Next, we thought about our own main characters. We previously looked at characterisation and how to develop a character. The children used the Sketches School app to create their character and then thought about some of their characteristics. Here's a few examples for you. Then we thought about the plot of our comic book strips. This again linked back to some of our previous learning, looking at how to structure a piece of writing. So there's another character one. Next was creating our comic book strips using Book Creator and Sketches School. I recorded 2 how-to videos for the class demonstrating how to use Book Creator and how to create their comic book strips. But to be honest with you, most of them knew how to use it better than me anyways, and they loved using it. The children then set about to create their own comic book strips using differentiated success criteria for what I was looking for. The children who aren't so confident with writing, they were able to use the voice record function, which was a great tool for them to use and really help support them so they could get their ideas out and they didn't have to spend ages typing it or thinking about that. I was really pleased with the work produced and the attention to detail from some of them. It was great to be able to share them with the rest of the class so that they could read each other's comic book strips and give feedback. So here's a few snippets of some of the fantastic work produced. Overall, it was a great block of learning which motivated the children and allowed them to develop a range of writing and technology skills. Thanks for listening.
Next up, we have Diane Mackay from Home Economics, who has made clever use of iMovie to create mouth-watering virtual lessons for her pupils.
Hi everyone, my name's Diane Mackay and I'm a home economics teacher at Jedburgh Grammar School. I just wanted to share a little bit about how I used the iPad during lockdown. During the second lockdown, I wanted to help support the pupils who were able to carry out practical activities at home. That obviously didn't include everyone, but I didn't feel it was fair that some of them who wanted to do something weren't given that opportunity. But it was essential that I was there to support them to help build their skills and to encourage them to take part in practical activities at home. I specifically wanted to help BGE pupils who are maybe less likely to go and do things on their own at home, and also to help support parents to encourage them to work with their children to do practical activities. I spoke to Paul about using iMovie or maybe clips to do live lessons. He suggested that I recorded the demonstrations so that the pupils could use them at their own time rather than linking in with a specific time in the day and then having to get everything ready for then, and they might not have all of the equipment, or it might not be a convenient time. So I decided that I would record demonstrations of the practical tasks that they would be doing in class. Paul was really encouraging when I spoke to him and assured me that it would be really easy and I could then upload it onto my own YouTube channel and give the link to the pupils to watch. When you haven't done this before, this sounded really easy, but once I got home and tried to look into it, I found that it was actually going to be a little bit more difficult, and obviously I'd forgotten some instructions that Paul had said. However, using the Inspire Schoolhouse learning videos really helped. So the first recipe that I thought I would do was a vegetable stir fry for S1, because that was what they were supposed to be doing when they were in school. I think the first one took me all day, which then was thinking maybe this isn't going to be very economical with my time. However, I did get a little bit faster at them and managed to do, I was sort of doing about 2 or 3 each day that I had gone into the campus. I bought a stand to hold the iPad, which conveniently clipped onto the shelf which was in the classroom. This meant I could record from above the table, and it was a better view of the techniques that I was trying to show them. Once I had recorded the videos, they were saved in my photos. Once you go into iMovie, you select the media that you would like to put into your movie, and I'm selecting a video here that I did for a spicy bean burger. Once you are in the iMovie and you've got your video loaded up, then you can start to play around with the movie. I very quickly realised that instead of trying to start the filming, it was easier to do it in iMovie, and I could cut bits out that maybe weren't right, or other bits that needed to be a bit longer or a bit shorter. Once you've got your video into iMovie, you can then start to play around with bits and pieces. So on some bits I speeded up the time that it took to do certain things that were fairly straightforward, and maybe slow it down for things that maybe took a little bit longer or were a bit complicated or were a particular new skill. You can also cut bits out, like you can see my hair and my head there underneath the camera, so I can cut those bits out, and so it makes it a bit more seamless. I had a student with me in January when we started these, and she introduced me to Canva, which helped me make some introduction slides to each of the videos, which made them look a little bit more professional. You can also use the filter button at the bottom, which you can obviously create different effects. And the last thing I would do would be to do the voice recording over the top once I'd got the video in the right order and sequencing that I wanted. Once you have created the video, you can then save it into your photos and then upload it from there to YouTube. The feedback from the videos has been really good. I've had a few emails from parents thanking me for doing them, as it gives them a little bit more confidence in letting their children loose in the kitchen. It also is something visual for them to look at and not just the recipe. I will continue to do the videos and to build up a collection of the recipes that we use in school. I think it'll be useful if the pupils are absent and they can prepare for the next lesson. It will also be useful if I'm absent and I can leave some information about that. I could maybe use Edpuzzle to set some questions so that it could be a practical activity for them if I'm not there. They can watch the video before the lesson, so they could do that as a homework task, so that when they come to the class they are a little bit more prepared and a little bit more confident about what we're actually going to be doing that day. The channel on YouTube is called Get Cooking with Miss Mackay if anybody wants to have a wee look, and thank you for listening. Hope that's given you some ideas about something that you could do in your classroom. Thank you.
Next up, we have Fraser Hewitt from the music department, who has some great ideas about how to use QR codes.
So if you've never seen a QR code before, it's basically this little symbol that you scan and it'll take you to a website or take you to a link. It's kind of like a barcode that you scan, and you just scan it on the normal camera on your phone or on your iPad. So I'll just quickly show you what it looks like on the pupil's iPad. So they don't have to download a specific app. It just works on the normal camera app that is in their iPad. So you just have to open it up and then go and find the QR code and just point it at it. They don't take a picture. A link will pop up at the top of the screen. They just tap the link and then it'll take them to the website or the video or whatever you've linked. There's a couple of different ways that I've used QR codes this year. So in that last video we saw was just like a sign-in sheet for one of the practice rooms. I've also done like a sort of treasure hunt where you hide QR codes around the classroom, and then they've got different questions. Whenever they scan them, they might open up like a YouTube video for them to watch and listen to, or it could take them to a Kahoot that they have to fill in or things like that. And also I'm using them quite a bit at the minute for my plenaries for the BGE classes, because Microsoft Forms has got a really easy way of making a QR code. So this is the plenary that I used just in the last class. So it's like 2 stars and a wish. All you do, you just make up the form as normal, and then you go up to the share button, hit share. You could just copy and send them this link, or you could email it to them, but this second button here actually makes a QR code for you. So all you do is while they're packing up and they're tidying and wiping down the instruments, I'll just zoom in on this, put it up on my TV or up on the board, and then whenever they're finished, they'll just come scan it with iPad, and then it'll just take them directly to this form that they fill out. To make any website, any web link into a QR code, I use this website called QR Code Monkey, which is pretty good because it's totally free. A lot of the websites you've got to like sign up and then pay a subscription fee, and then sometimes the QR code will expire and they only last a couple of weeks. But this website is really, really good. Highly recommend it. So all you do is you just go to whatever website you want or whatever link. So I'll just use this YouTube video. Just copy the link and then paste it in here. Paste. And then you just hit create QR code, and then you can download this, or you can just zoom in and screenshot it. And then whenever these people scan that, then it will just take them directly to this lovely video. So that's what you can do. If you want, you can then go in and like change like the colors of it. If you want it to look like nice and pretty, you can add in a logo. So if you've got a school logo, you could add that in the middle of it. Or even just some of these quick and easy templates you can use at the bottom. And then it'll just make it a bit more interesting instead of the normal black and white one. I really like QR codes just because it's a bit more interesting than sitting and typing out the entire web address. And it's also a lot easier for the pupils. They just point their camera at the board, and it'll take them to the website. And if anyone's got any questions, feel free to email me, or you could scan this QR code and it'll already type out an email, and all you've got to do is hit send.
Finally, we have Joanne Gilfillan, PT Art, Music and Technology, who out of the many uses she puts the Procreate app to, is today showing us how to create simple animations.
Hi, I'm Joanne Gilfillan. I'm one of the art teachers at Jedburgh Grammar Campus, and I thought I'd chat to you about how we've been using Procreate recently. Some of you'll know if you've got the app on your iPads or been working in art and design classes, or I'm not sure, maybe some other classes have got the app as well now, that the possibilities of Procreate are massive. It's a great art and design tool. We've used it with our seniors for design. We've used it with our third years for a bit of design and some expressive work, and we've been working on some other projects with it as well, so it'd be great if we could get it further down the school. So I've experimented a little bit with some of our third years with animation, and I started off just as simple as I possibly could, so I had to work through the process myself to see how it worked, and then I've shown the pupils the basics, the very basics, and then they've taken it on and they've tried to experiment with that a little bit further. So to start with animation, it's really straightforward. In your actions, you just need to make sure on canvas you've selected Animation Assist, and then you'll see at the bottom of your screen that you have a different bar that shows frames. So then each layer that you create becomes a frame. So here I've started off really simply just with a circle. The other great thing with Procreate is you draw a kind of wonky circle, hold it in place, and then it guesses that you want a perfect circle and it snaps into that perfect circle shape. You can stop that as well if you really want a wonky circle, but so I just I'm duplicating my layers, so I've got the same shape, and then I'm just moving each one using the move tool. So I've got like a really basic circle. It could be a ball that goes up to the top and then it's making its way back down to the bottom. I think 20 layers, 20 frames is as many as you can get. I think that's what some of the kids had kind of realised. I could be wrong, there's maybe another way of doing that, but I haven't got that far yet. So get to the bottom, and then I'm going to do a slightly squidgier shaped circle as if it's reached the bottom. So now I've got all my circles in the right places. You just need to hit play on your frames and off it goes. So you can see how it's really, really simple, but yeah, quite effective if you start kind of adding to it. So I've got a few examples of where I took it next to show pupils. So just in my gallery, and there we go. I added some colour and a little face to it first of all. So I think the face features were maybe moving a bit quick, but it gives you the idea. And then I thought, okay, I could turn it into a bit of a character, put some wings on it, and then you can select individual areas. So I selected the wings to make them move separately as well. And then I got a little bit more experimental, and I thought, right, okay, go with butterfly, and then you can play around with the kind of distort function as well to make those little wings flap. So it's the kind of technique that you could use in, well, several different subjects, all different subjects, I suppose. If there's something that you want to demonstrate, an animation would make that more obvious, and it's just a really fun thing to play around with, and it's really great for links to industry. Several animators, big animators, use Procreate to create their animations. So yeah, it's really exciting for kids as well as us. Thank you.
Thank you very much to all our contributors, and I hope all our viewers are as inspired by these showcases as I am. Thank you.